Today we're going to be going over why practicing on your time off is so important. I've spoken with a few of my photography friends and we discussed several reasons why we think it's so crucial to not only shoot when somebody is paying you to do it, but to shoot also when you have downtime or when the weather is acting up like it is in California right now, or basically anytime that you have some time off. If you got into photography or if you got into anything that you're passionate about, whether you're a makeup artist, a painter, you're a designer, anything like that, you probably got into it because it was something that you genuinely enjoyed, and therefore it should be something that, in my opinion, something that you would want to do pretty much all the time. The fact that we get paid to shoot weddings and to be there during, such important moments and to be there during such highlights in people's lives is something that we never really take for granted. So today's video, I wanted to discuss why you should practice not only when you're being paid, but when you have some time off. I asked some of you guys what you thought was a very important reason as to why practice, and Scott said confidence building. One thing that he struggled with was off-camera lighting, so shooting with your flash, obviously not on top of your camera. And one thing that he said is that when he first started doing it, it would, and hell, we've all been there, so I'm not throwing Scott under the bus. When you first start doing it, you go and you try to experiment with something that you haven't done before, and you may be fumbling a little bit, or you're not exactly sure where it's supposed to be, what power it's supposed to be at, what modifiers you want to put on it, and all this is happening while the client is right there waiting on you. So by practicing when you're not in a high stress situation, you're going to be a lot more comfortable when that day comes and you're shooting with a client who's paying you hundreds or thousands of dollars to do something that you're supposed to know how to do, which it makes sense. I mean, you'll figure it out, but it's so much better to figure it out when you're in a low pressure situation. And the thing with lighting is that you never know exactly how colors are going to react. You never know exactly how the light is going to react, whether it's going to spill, whether it's going to give more light than you expected, and now you got to improvise on the spot. So by testing things out beforehand, like when me and Sergio, for example, a couple of weeks ago, we were shooting a wedding and we practiced this technique where we wanted to give light into the room and at the same time light the couple so then they wouldn't look green like the rest of the room would. So we practiced that at the studio before we went out and did it on the wedding. When we did it on the wedding, it literally took like about 45 seconds from setting it up to taking the photo to saying we got it and moving on to the next shot. And that was only possible because we had already worked out the kinks at the studio prior to it. Going off of that, sometimes you think you're gonna have an hour and a half for portraits, and then the limo may get there a little bit late, you guys might have started a little bit later, and now you only have 10 minutes to do it. So if you've practiced a ton, by the time you get there, you can be like, okay, we only got half an hour, that's totally fine, we can knock out what I know we need to get. Another reason that is very important is it's a lot less expensive to mess up when it's free than when you're being paid and you mess up or you don't get it exactly how you want it to. So if you're messing up but nobody's paying you to do it, it's just something that you're doing. Let's say, for example, you have a couple of friends that you know are engaged, or maybe they're not even engaged, maybe they're married. You want to go and take some photos and you want to test out this new technique that you've been meaning to try. Take them out, go out and shoot. You're gonna mess it up a few times, but they know and you know that you're both just trying it out. So they're not gonna get frustrated because everybody is there to help one another, and they're gonna get some beautiful photos because of it. Because if you think about it, you already have your base. So those photos are already gonna come out. Those are already good. Now you're trying something that's a little bit extra that's gonna give them a little bit more than what they normally see and a little bit more than you normally see, and a little bit more that your audience sees. So it helps everybody in that situation. And I think a major key is that you should enjoy doing it. So let's think about this. When you go to college and you look at majors that you can major in, and listen, I don't like college, so I'm not gonna say what I was about to say. But when you look and you see all the majors that you could possibly major in, you decided to either go for this, or you decided not to go to college and you decided this is what I want to do because I'm passionate about this. So you should find it fulfilling to just get out there and shoot. I spoke with a few of my friends earlier this morning and I asked them to send me a few photos that they've either shot that were either unpaid gigs, or they were just out shooting for fun, or they were just practicing, or they wanted to shoot for their friends. Anything like that where you just got out into the world and you started playing with a camera because you don't know exactly what it does, or you do know exactly what it does, but you want to play around and get something different and get something fun. You're gonna go out to the desert like Joseph or Frankie go, and I constantly see photos on their feed of photos that they've taken on trips where I know, nobody's paying you to do this. You just do it because you enjoy it. And the beautiful thing about that is now when you go to a job, you're gonna think of that one time that I was at the sand dunes or I was at the beach and this situation came up and I was able to solve it by doing this. You already prepped yourself for when that happens when you're shooting a job. Or for example, Scott, I saw this photo that he posted with a really cool ring shot that he did that was inspired by another shooter in the MagMod community. And if you don't know what the MagMod community is, check them out. I'm gonna link them below because they are awesome and I learned a lot from them as well. He posted a photo of a ring that he really went above and beyond to shoot, and this was at home. He just shot it just to test out something that he was interested in trying out. And now when he goes and shoots a wedding, he knows, okay, worst case, if I can't think of anything, if I can't find it, I got this shot in my back pocket. It's just so great to have that. Another one of my friends, Ryan, I know he's constantly out with his girlfriend. The kid looks like he has an adventure all the time. He's always out and about and doing fun things. Little side note, when he came to shoot for us, I didn't hire him because I had seen an incredible amount of his work. I knew that he can shoot, but the reason I hired him was his personality. That's a vlog for another day, but okay, we'll talk about that later. With Ryan, he's always out, and I see that he takes his camera with him pretty much everywhere, which is great because now he's gonna be learning while he's enjoying his time out with his girlfriend, his friends, picking on his friends. Stop doing that, Ryan, I see you. But that's how you learn. Not by picking on your friends, but by taking your camera. Here's a really, really great example. You guys know Sergio. If you follow our Instagram, you know that he's one of my best friends. Sergio is an incredible human being. I remember when he first approached me to teach him how to shoot, I told him, I will teach you everything I know. I just need to know that you are definitely committed to this. There were a couple of F-bombs thrown in there in a good way because I really wanted him to know that I'm very passionate about teaching him and I will teach him everything, but I just don't want to waste any of his time or my time. So in any case, once he started shooting for us, before he started shooting really, he was assisting, but Sergio has a passion for video as well as photo. And so a couple of engagement sessions that I booked, I was like, hey dude, why don't you come with me? Let's go out and shoot, assist me, help me when I need help, but on the times that I don't need help, why don't you shoot a behind the scenes highlight video, something like that. And I didn't say it because I wanted to get more out of him. I just thought it would be great for him to get content that he can use. And the couples would be happy because they're getting a little extra that they didn't expect. And Sergio, of course, being the team player that he is, said, of course, let's do this. And there are a bunch of highlight videos that he has that weren't paid, that he did because he was helping me. Well, he was paid as an assistant. Let's correct that because nobody works for free. If you come to, we'll talk about that later too. But he has a bunch of highlight videos. If you're putting this work out to your audience, nobody knows whether it was paid, it was free, it was cheap, it was expensive. They just know that you're busy and people want to see that you're working. People want to see your work, period. So by Sergio doing this, he got himself a ton of content that he can use in the future that he didn't have before. So should you shoot on your time off? I mean, you tell me. I think that it's a tremendous way of getting experience and having fun. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I posted throughout this video, we were having a hell of a good time. We were out in the desert, at the beach, in Vegas. It was just fun. It wasn't something that we were doing because we were getting paid. We went to the Valley of Fire after we shot a wedding the previous day just because it was a fun thing to do. And we just had our cameras to shoot around with. So I cannot stress enough to you, if you're in a creative field, if you're doing anything you enjoy, if you're doing it on the side, just do more of it. You're gonna feel better and you're gonna be fulfilling people's lives if you're shooting for them too. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see anything else. A couple of the topics that I talked about, I'll discuss in the future. I just don't want these to be too long. But yeah, see you guys on the next one.